TSF Entertainment.
Yo, welcome back to TSF Entertainment. This time we're bringing you BMF episode 6, Bad Religion. And I got none other than the man himself, the Detroit native and BMF expert, Jack Jordan.
BMF expert. What up, though?
Before we get into it, what you think about the episode, bro?
I think this is probably the best episode that we've seen at BMF. I ain't even gonna lie. I only watched the episode twice, considering that I actually watched it this morning, probably about like 5 o'clock. Normally, by the time we get ready to do our recordings, I probably watched about 6-7 times. But this was by far, this might be one of the best episodes out of the whole series.
I agree 100%. This is the best episode of the season this far. So I know we was skeptical earlier in the beginning of the season, trying to figure out where this was going to go. But it looks like they ramping up to give us, like, it's about to ramp up big time for the rest of the episodes. Man, saw some things in this episode did not see coming at all. So I definitely have to give this episode like a 9 out of 10 for sure.
I agree.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Episode 6 synopsis says Terry's attempts at gaining ground in St. Louis only result in more conflict, leading Meech to intervene. Lucille and Charles continue to navigate life living together following their divorce. So the episode kicks off with them back in Mexico, which we said last week. We already know this is how they're going to continue each episode. And we have T here with the little boy who Loco snatched up, who thought was a spy. And T feeling bad for him and not thinking that he's a spy. You know, the little boy's crying, wants to get back to his family. So T decides to let him go. And in the process, after letting him go, when Meech and Loco come back, he lies and says, you know, the boy's in the room. And of course, Loco says, see, there's no boys in the room. And they have a full-fledged fist fight. And from there, Meech realizes that he's starting to lose his faith in T. And T tells Meech that he is not believing the whole nonsense with Loco, that the boy's a little spy. So that's why he ends up letting them go. But we can see right here, this is what made me think, and I thought right here, this is what we were going to see as to why they've been bumping heads ever since they got back from Mexico.
But, you know, T is not in no position to even say whether or not he thinks, you know, this is Loco's, you know, territory, anything like that. And he already said he'd been down this road before. You know, I think they both right. I think T's right because, yeah, you don't want to harm no kid or anything like that. But they didn't hurt him. They were just holding him to see what he, you know, to see what he knew. Now,
see what he knew.
Yeah, I got a prediction, but I'm gonna wait.
All right. So back in Detroit, T tells Hoop that after promotion and getting Purdy out of her contract, that they're damn near broke. So now he's going to make some moves, and he ends up cutting a side deal with J-Pusha's right-hand man, Sean, where he's getting Sean to give him some information to where they could take J-Pusha out, and he moves into J-Pusha's spot. And Sean also lets us know that J-Pusha is a snake. He's been doing this to a whole bunch of partners, and even informs them that, you know, he even tried to go behind their back and talk to Loco to get the plug, which surprises Hoop and T. So T gets the info from J-Pusha, and he ends up giving tell Hoop to give the info to B-Mickie, who's out in St. Louis, to where J-Pusha is going to be at, as Sean lets him know the info of where J-Pusha is going to be rolling up at. So we got B-Mickie. He's out there. Looks like he's on some type of balcony, and while he's there, he's writing his vows for his wedding. And J-Pusha rolls up across the street from the store, and he got some on the scope. We hear the shots fired, but we don't know what happened. Me, instantly, when the shots was fired, I knew that he missed. I felt like he missed on purpose, although when we get to that later on down the line. But I just had that strange reason he missed on purpose, only because it felt like he didn't want to do it after he got that call. Like he just looked on. Matter of fact, hold on. Didn't he got a call before he took the shot, right?
He got a call before he took the shot. Yeah, he got a call before he took the shot, and then like you hear in the background, like the bells going off, if I'm not mistaken, like a siren or something like that going off, which kind of like coincides what he was saying later on. I got a question though. I wish Juggernaut was on here because he can answer this question for me. You might know where I'm about to get ready to go with this. The scope on the Desert Eagle at that range.
I can't. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to look at it again because I didn't even think that was a DE. I thought that was a 357. No, you know what? You're right, because he cocked it back. My fault. I'm thinking of another. I'm thinking of a totally different movie that looked something similar to that. I mean, if it was a 50 cal, I mean, he wasn't too far. Like, I mean, he was across the street and he was elevated. I mean, as we hate jumping scenes, but as we saw at the end, we saw the shots got close to him enough, so we know that that he definitely could have hit him if he wanted to. But I just had that strangest feeling like he missed the shot so on purpose. And he comes back to Detroit and he meets up with T and Hoop to where they get on him about he's supposed to be the shooter and he misses the shot. And B-Mickie tells Hoop and T that he missed the shot due to him hearing the siren, and they got him spooked, so that's how he ends up missing the shot. But he also tells T that Pusha thinks, from keeping his ear out in the streets, that Pusha thinks it was Money Mook that tried to hit him at the store. And so from there, Terry tells Hoop, like, you know what? If the Moors think he did it, we're gonna let him think that they did it, and it's two birds in one stone. That's how I hear. We ain't even gotta worry about J-Pusha no more. So back here, damn man, this whole episode, I feel bad for Charles, man.
Man, listen, I wanted to take Lucille and make her understand why I'm a descendant of Ike Turner and a close cousin to Pretty Tony, because she was way out of pastor or not. You need to look. Yeah, she.
Excuse me. Way out of line.
Ike Turner descended.
And I was just like, man, but we gonna talk about it when we get to it. But here we got Charles, who is holding his as we see, he has a broken hand, suffered from the work accident, and he has a bottle of pills in his hand. I didn't see what we saw later on coming with Charles. I thought it was going to be more so that he was going to get addicted to the painkillers, is what I thought was going to end up happening with Charles.
I did too, honestly, because they put emphasis on the painkillers.
Yeah, the way they put the emphasis on everything.
Yeah.
So that's literally what I thought. I thought that's exactly what was going to happen. I was like, oh man, they putting the emphasis on that. Charles about to get hooked to him. And we see Charles, he just down in the dumps, just realizing, his hand is broke. He can't go on tour. He can't work. He just, trying to hold himself together the best way possible. And Nikki sees it, comes in, tries to give him some type of pep talk and everything, but it don't really work. And he's just like, I'm just going to take these pills and go back to sleep until it's time for the wedding. So here we finally get to see Money Mook, aka dang, I'm about to mess up his name already.
I can't
Sheik Mooney Bay. Sheik Mooney Bay. We finally get to see his character, and we see him here taking over what looked like to be an army veteran house. And I was sitting there like, how you just take over somebody's house?
Dude, he said it's our birthright.
He said it's our birthright, and tells the army veteran that it's there due to it being on ancestral grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he just came in, took over dude's house, changed the locks and everything. And while he's speaking to the dude, J-Pusha rolls up and does a drive-by, and he hits Money Mook, and thought that he took him out, which he didn't realize that Money Mook had on a vest. It shocked the hell out of him, and Money Mook and the whole Moors, they return fire, and a whole shootout begins where both sides end up losing people in their camp. I was shocked that the man had on a vest.
Me too.
That shocked me when he hit him. I was like, dang. I was like, we didn't even really get into his character. They about to get ready. I figured he was just going to get hit. They was going to drag him in. That was going to be it. Then when he pulled it open, I was like, okay, so bruh must have been prepared for this already. Like he was waiting for this to happen. So here we got Purdy in the hospital where she is recovering after her gunshot. And Meech walks in, and he tries to give her a pep talk. We need you back out there, but Purdy, after being shot, she is very scared to perform again.
You surprised she's still here with us?
I am surprised, honestly. I thought she was going to be gone.
I'm not really surprised that she's still here with us. I mean, considering how she got hit, I guess I should have been. But I just was like, as far as her performing again, that's probably done.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought she was gone because it was just like where she got hit at, the blood and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only thing I'm trying to figure out is now, since she's not gone, is where are they taking the character next? Because like from this, it looked like they out of the music biz. Like they done with Stomping Ground Records. Like I can't see them trying to get back at it especially after the whole ending of this episode. So
you think it's over with Trail too? I think they got to spin the block on Trail. I think they have to. They got to spin the block on Trail because they'd make them like some punks if they don't.
Yeah, they got to spin the block on Trail. So I'm wondering how they're gonna piece it together. I don't. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. But of course, Meech gives her the whole pep talk, saying that he needs her. How he felt like after he got shot. This is all fate. So once she gets back 100, we're gonna make sure everything get back popping. And then after that, he happens to come out, and Laz is outside waiting for him. And from here, we find out that Laz has been running everything in Atlanta since Duffy got locked up. And Meech tells Laz that he's going to St. Louis. And of course, Laz is like, nah, I can't let you go by yourself. I'm going to go out there with you. He's like, nah, J-Pusha ain't the only person in St. Louis, and he plans on killing two birds with one brick, as Meech says.
Mm-hmm.
Back here at the Flannery home, we got Cousin Estelle and Mama Lucille. And Mama Lucille there talking about B-Mickie's wedding, but she says she has a surprise for them. And then the whole conversation, the phone rings, and Estelle is going to answer the phone, and Lucille runs to stop her. She says that it's none other than bill collectors calling, and Estelle sees a bill that is sitting on the counter there that is past due, and finds out that Lucille has ran up Nikki's credit card, which I'm guessing is in Nikki's name for that time, and runs up, maxes out Nikki's credit card at Sears, as we can see. And again, she tells her to file for welfare.
Hey,
of course,
real quick, Lucille got a surprise at B-Mickie's wedding too.
Sure enough did. That's for sure.
Yeah,
man, I can't wait till we get to those parts.
Oh man.
So of course, with her being a pastor and everything, she still says she can't do welfare because Charles is still living there. But Estelle yet again pushes her, just apply, just go ahead and try and see what happens. So we got Hoop here that is talking to Terry, And he's telling T, you know, the Lou is making it hard for the work to get picked up due to everything that's going out there, and that T probably needs to call Meech to find out if he's having the same problems in Atlanta, and also to tell him about the hit on Pusha, as at some point that Meech is going to find out. So of course T finally hits up Meech and he asks him about how everything's going in Atlanta. He's like, everything's going good, Purdy's going good, and then T starts to inquire whether or not Duffy is going to snitch or not. And Meech pretty much tells him, like, man, that man's official. Everything's good. Of course, in this scene, they spoke in code. Tells him everything's good. Everything's official. He a soldier. He family. And hangs up the phone on T. So here back in Detroit, we got Duffy along with Detective Bryant and Detective Waters bring in Duffy Pops named Cornell. So we get to see Cornell, a new character, which I'm probably sure this is probably the only episode we're going to see him in. And he gets to see his Pops, and we find out that his Pops is sick. And in the same breath, his Pops tries to get Duffy to flip, snitch, make some kind of deal.
Why would he even? I didn't understand that, man. Like,
I mean, I understood it. I think this is what I think, and I think this was off camera that they didn't show. I think Brian and Waters probably made some type of deal with Cornell, like, hey, if you get your son to give us some information, since you about to get ready to go, maybe we'll get you out early release, and you can pass away being outside of prison. That's the only thing. That's how I saw it, because of how his Pops kept pushing to, like, you don't want to be like me. At least if you make a deal, you could get out, you could change your life, you could see your family, you could grow old with your family and all that different type of stuff. So that's how I took it, was that he was trying. That's why he was trying to get him to snitch.
That makes sense.
We saw Detective Brown on the other side of the window saying, hey, listen to your Pops. But of course, Duffy stands 10 toes down and like, nope, I ain't getting nothing on BMF. BMF is family.
BMF for life.
BMF for life was screaming it. Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like,
yeah,
okay, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Because I thought that, I thought he was gonna give some info to the travel agents.
I didn't think he was gonna give no info. I thought, if anything, he might have spoke on the whole situation of why he had that warrant in Detroit. If anything. But I felt like he wasn't gonna give anything on Meech, because he literally said to his Pops, like, I didn't cop, because Pop said, like, I heard you unalive an innocent person. He was like, man, I ain't copped none of that stuff. But I figured, like, I thought here possibly he'd be like, you know what? You let my Pops out, I'll give you some info. And I thought it'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I end up unalive the kid. It was by mistake. But I had the strange feeling. I had already knew, like, man, he ain't about to give up Meech, like, at all.
You gotta love how they code everything. The travel agents, and did you get a postcard from that guy that went on vacation? The way they code the conversations is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using that as my regular lingo on something.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
I'll start using that as my lingo sometimes.
Yeah.
So back in the Lou, we got Kia, if y'all remember her from last season. And Meech meets up with Kia to find out that Kia is now running her own block and everything, thanks to J-Pusha. But Meech is there and he explains to her, like, hey, I want to bring together a peace treaty, so I need your help. She's not really feeling that. Like, nah, basically, like, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. As well as he wants to meet with, he wants to find out info on who else J-Pusha has beef with. And she wasn't willing to give that information. But of course, Meech being Meech ends up sweet talking her so that he gets some info, and ends up getting some info to make this peace treaty that he wants. And then from there, he heads over to the warehouse to where he talks to Sean, and he finds out from Sean that T pulled a side deal with him to take out J-Pusha, and told him, if he took out J-Pusha, then he would be the man up next. to where that pisses Meech off. And Meech like, yo, I'm the one who runs BMF. You know, you don't do nothing unless I say so. And so you gonna tell me everything I need to know about this side deal and everything else that's going on. Even though he doesn't say J-Pusha's name, but basically says you gonna let me know everything that's going on with J-Pusha. Back in Detroit, we got Charles. We know he is the best man for B-Mickie's wedding, and they kind of have like a little heart to heart. And B-Mickie, you know, basically like, wish I could be the half the man you are. And Charles just tells him, you know, just get prepared, you know, for this new step in your life. Be happy. And Mama Lucille comes in and tell him it's time. Which we don't see the ceremony. It just fast forward straight to the reception. And we see, oh, that's right, I forgot.
Please
it's not in here. That Mama Estelle, she sings them a little love song and everything. I forgot the name of the song already.
I can't remember the name of the song either. I
downloaded
it after I heard it because I was like, I ain't even got this song on my track list. Like, I ain't got this.
But that's her surprise that she sings them a song on the dance floor. And while they're dancing, Breeze asked Nicole to dance with her, which at first she was hesitant, but she goes ahead and ends up dancing with him. And she breaks the news to Breeze that she is pregnant and tells him not to react, but you can tell from his face that boy was scared to death.
How you gonna tell a man to not, like, the moment you tell somebody not to do something, that's gonna be the first thing that they do. But yeah, this scene was. You think she just tried to get in front of it? You know, like, let me tell Breeze is his before the information comes out that I was messing with Worm and stuff like that. Like, that information still going to come out, but you think she just tried to get in front of it?
Yeah, I believe, and I forgot who was I telling that to. Telling it to somebody, I believe that's exactly why she's telling everybody that it's Breeze's child, because she supposed, well, she don't know, well, we still don't know if Breeze was even faithful. We saw him run off with the little chick, but we don't know if he did anything with him. But she don't want Breeze to know that she been unfaithful since they supposed to be together. So immediately she puts it in like, this is Breeze's baby, which when we get to that scene, that T was the only one that made sense out of the whole thing. So he tells Breeze, is like, you know, so, you know, basically ask her in a sense, like, you know, is she gonna get rid of it? And she tells him that she's keeping it because, of course, they don't believe in that. She's not going to hell for aborting her child. So Nikki tells Breeze that they can still go to school, they can still do everything that they do, and they're gonna make it work, and which gets Breeze excited. And he's like, okay, we're gonna get it done. And he puts his hands on his stomach, on Nikki's stomach, and he's smiling. They're happy to give each other a hug. And of course, immediately, as soon as I saw her face, I was like, yep, she knows.
Man, what a real see you next Tuesday.
I was like, Mama Lucille peeped everything. I was like, man, just she knew immediately right then and there. I was like, oh yeah, it's coming. So while they wrapping up everything, you know, Nicole's like, hey, Mom, that was a good, you know, you did good. This was a good wedding. You know, you sung good and everything. And Mama Lucille was like, yeah. How long was you going to take us? How long was you going to wait to tell us that you got knocked up? And of course, she like try to play the confused face. And she tells her, like, I already saw Breeze put his hands on your stomach. I saw everything, so you might as well just come on out with it. Like, I know that you're pregnant.
Hold on, because we give Lucille way too much credit. She said, you ain't gonna be wearing white to your wedding.
That's right.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be wearing white to your wedding because you out here running around doing this and doing that, you little Jezebel. And another thing that I peeped about that picture, if you could just go back, if you will,
being a loose goose.
Look at my man Charles, man. Like, I understand he got the broken hand and everything. They made old persona depressed. Like, he looks depressed, right? Like, his whole everything about him was depressed this episode. Dude, it was kind of sad. Like, it was depressing.
It was hella depressing. And Yeah, that's the first thing. When I noticed his tie, I thought B-Mickie was gonna help him with his tie when he first came in.
Yeah.
Mickey ain't
Like
never helped him.
everything about him just said depressive, man. And I felt like I know people, prior episodes or prior seasons, he did what he did, but
Yeah.
damn, the man can't buy a break.
Yep.
He needs a
Even T made it even bad where when Mama
the
Lucille was
music
singing,
comes.
yeah, it was like you done jumped in and now she done jumped in the
forgot
music
about
game,
that.
and I was just like, damn, dog.
Like you're pretty much like you out and she in. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he looked at him like,
really?
Yep. Just keep digging. Just keep digging. It's man, my man, Uncle Charles is in a bad spot, man.
Yeah, in a bad spot. So Mama Lucille calls her out, calls her a loose goose.
Yep. Jezebel.
And she jumps is like, what's the difference between me and Wanda? Then she was like, just because at least they know who their baby daddies is, as T walks in and finds out that she's pregnant, and automatically he thinks that it's Worm's child. And Mama Lucille's like, what the hell is a worm?
Yeah.
And of course, Nikki again screams that it's Breeze, and T is like, are you sure? She's like, yes, I'm sure. But T, he making sense. He automatically think that it's none other than Worm's child, because we would have saw some type of reactions way before then. We ain't see anything of you having morning sickness, throwing up, none of that stuff.
The last time they was together was 3 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the math wasn't even math.
Yeah, like you would have been showing in 3 months. Like it was 3 months. Everybody would be like, "Yo, you gained a mad weight, like your stomach."
No menstrual since for 3 months. Like, you don't think that's crazy weird?
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, was calling her all types of names and yeah, without saying it. The other part I didn't like about this scene was how Lucille tried to blame Nikki getting knocked up on Charles. When she told Charles, where do you think she got it from? I was like, what the hell does Charles?
Has nothing to do with nothing. Like her disdain, her gripes, and the way she just she mutilized his whole character. But she's been doing it well before the indiscretions of the infidelity. She was doing it well before that. So it's not like the infidelity happened. She was before she found out about the infidelity. She was like, well, when you gonna start being the man? Or when you start acting like one or something like that, or why don't you? He said something like to the effect of, "Why don't you let me be the man in this house?" And she was like, "Well, when you start acting one, or acting like one, or I respect one when I see one, something like that." Like, who talks like this? You was supposed to be a pastor. You're supposed to have everything in order for your marriage to work in the Bible that you read on a day in, day out basis. You're not even utilizing what you know. So, like, I think she need to meet. I think she need to meet a little Pretty Tony, or maybe a little Ike Turner.
Yeah, she was wild. I was like, man, he ain't got nothing to do with this. Like, he ain't tell Nicole to cheat. He ain't tell her none of that. So to try to say that she got that from him was just crazy to me. So after the whole reception, T heads back to the restaurant, and while he's giving his crew some instructions, we got Hoop in here with Worm, which we found out Worm arm is broken, and he's drawing a crazy ass painting on Worm's cast.
I saw that.
It's hilarious to me. And T comes in and tells Worm, that if it comes out to be his child, that he's going to do right by Nikki, he's going to marry her and whatnot. And Worm is completely shocked. Is like, Nikki's pregnant, and then also says, how do you know that's even my baby? Which even pissed him off even more. And gave him a little burnt mark. Even Hoop was like, you big dumbass, like, how would it? But after that, T gets a phone call from Sean where he tells him that Meech has found out about the side deal that he had to take out Pusha, and that he is trying to initiate some peace talks. But of course, he is like, whatever, don't matter, and tells Sean to still go ahead and handle Pusha himself, to where Sean says Meech was right. You know what? You ain't shit. So here we got Meech and damn, I almost called her Purdy, Kia, who are going down to introduce Meech to the Moors, and she goes down there and tells the security people that Sister Jamila L said to bring him in, as she told a lie, said that he would like to join them. And as they come in, we see Money Mook in there giving a sermon to all the Moors in there and everything. And at the same time, we also get a little background on Money's Mook organization, and we find out that they are the Great Seal Moors, which is not the actual what was it, the Moors science, what was it, the original Moor science or something of that nature, something like that they said. But we get a little bit of background, and we find out the Great Seal Moors, like, they're basically putting up the front as a cult, or leading this type of congregation so that they can do a little things and move some stuff, move some product, make some money. And while Meech is there, he's speaking to Money Mook, and he tells Money Mook, like, hey, I'm coming here for peace. I'm trying to make sure everything stays good. And they not hearing that as, because of J-Pusha. And they're like, nah, we're not going to work with it. You still got something going on in your camp along with J-Pusha. And Meech tells them, like, well, once everything gets moving, he has no choice but to fall in line. So after that, they're like, okay, they agree to work together. But Money Mook tells Meech that, Judas head on the snake is your problem, basically, that J-Pusha is your problem, so you're going to have to handle that. So we got excuse me. So we got Mama Lucille here at the welfare office, and as she's applying for welfare, she gets good news. She gets good news from the welfare agent that she is able to get welfare until she sees that she marked down that her husband is still living in the house, and tells her that she is not eligible for welfare, as with him being in the house, he would make too much money. And she tried to tell her, like, hey, he's not working, he's injured, he has no job, he's bringing in no income, can't you do something? And she's like, no, there's nothing I can do. And Mama Lucille's like, I could have lied. And the welfare person's like, hey, that's your problem.
He pretty much told you should have.
Yeah, you should have. That's your, that's your dealing. And of course, Mama Lucille is starting to crash out, gets mad at her because she's denied welfare. And back at home, going over the bills, Mama Lucille crashes out again.
This scene was so horrible and hard to digest, but I'm gonna let it rock. It was horrible.
It definitely was horrible. I was just sitting there like, are you for real? Like, damn. I was like,
waiting for a bitch. Shut up.
You blaming Charles for all of this.
She blamed Charles for everything. She blamed Charles for every problem that they ever encountered. She talked about him 25 years too late. Like, she was going in on him. Like, all you do is just mope around. Like, she got to the point where she was discussing everything and flaring filth. And everything was a curse word at this point. And she already realized the role she played in all this.
Yeah, like, she's telling him, I can't get anything. I can't even get on welfare because of you, And of course, Charles he's like, we're going to get through it, And she's like, no, if you want to help me, just leave. Like you said, 25 years too late, everything. And I'm like, yo, you putting all the blame on him when the man's been trying to help you, and you kept turning down everything. Every time the man tried to help you,
He tried to pay for the cake. You didn't want him to pay for that.
And he wanted to pay for the cake. Like you got, and I get it. You know, he did what he did, which was, of course, it was wrong. You also did what you did last season, which you couldn't go through with it because, you, of course, you know, you were still married. But still, at the end of the day, it's like you saying it's your house. Okay, granted, cool, it's your house, but why wouldn't you not let him contribute if he's living there? Like, you might as well take that extra bread. Like, okay, this would be rent. Like, Charles has already acknowledged the fact that, like, hey, we not getting back together. You sold the ring, so that's what made him take out Cecilia. Like, you've already made it known we're not getting back together. So it's like, what else you want him to do?
It's like you have to drag this man down every level of hell because of the financial burdens that you get into. First of all, the credit card is your financial burden. You didn't have to get a credit card. You chose to get a credit card. Everything else, you know, that's one thing. But even still, she's been doing this to him since the beginning of the show. You know, there hasn't been a time where, outside of what he did, that he disrespected her as many times as she disrespected him. No, he should. I'm not saying that it's right. Let's get. I want to be the audio. I'm not saying that it's right, but she was disrespectful to him well prior before that.
Yeah,
and this right here is just like a different level of it. Like, this was just, I can't have nothing because of you. I ain't got no money when we were together. I can't get no money when we not together. I can't get no money while he was here. I can't get free government assistance because we made too much money together, but I don't want you to help me. What?
Yeah, you could tell after she said all she said, that's what broke him. At that point, he was a broken man. Like that was it for Charles. He was broken. So back here, we got T, who is talking to none other than Markeisha, and he tells Markeisha that he is thinking of confessing to Meech because he's been doing some stuff behind his back, as well as, you know, the whole thing of putting the hit out on J-Pusha and probably wanting to tell him who he had to take the hit out on J-Pusha. But of course, Markeisha being Markeisha tells him, you know, pretty much like, hey, fuck him. You don't need Meech. You know, I've told you this before. You can handle it, you know.
Who are you to tell anybody anything? First of all, you still a married woman running around like you a married woman with 2 kids. You running around like you single and able to do whatever it is that you're doing. You playing every side of the fence with Vince, with Boom, and with T. T got to open up his eyes, man. Well, yeah. That I might have went too far, but open up his eyes. But y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
Hey, it still works, so you still need to open up.
Yeah, like, dude, you thinking with the wrong.
And Meech tells him that. Yep, Meech tells him that later on. So Markeisha finally breaks down and tells Terry that, you know, Boom is out. She don't know how he got out, but he's out and he's staying in the crib. And of course, T, like, the crib I paid for. Mm-hmm. And T just takes off and just heads to the crib. And of course, when he pulls up at the crib, Boom was already there in a robe, smoking a cigar, sitting back chilling.
I think he got finished smashing, probably
so. And basically Terry basically tells him like, yo, you know, I paid for this crib, you know, this is my crib, you know, in a sense, you gotta get up out of there. And a whole fight ensues, and of course,
wait, don't forget the funny part. He said, "This is what my nuts smell like," or "I have my nuts on this pillow." You know, it threw the pillow in his face.
That's right, he damn sure did. I thought he said all over his house. That's right, damn sure did.
That's wild disrespectful.
Wild disrespectful. At this point, I was like, forget fighting. You gotta shoot him, man. Like, it ain't no fight. Like,
that's no word. They're throwing a wipe off rag in his face. That's the same thing.
Yeah, you gotta go ahead and whatchamacallit. Yeah. And at first, T is getting his ass beat. Boom is beating the crap out of him, but he's able to grab a lamp and gets the upper hand on him to where Boom tells him and tries to put it in his ear, like, hey man, look, she playing both of us. Can't you realize that? She played me the same way that she playing you. But of
But
course,
and Boom is 100% right. You know, and I think that's why he got the upper hand. One, I think he's a snitch. So let's just
yeah,
I think he's a snitch. So I
Yeah.
think he's playing everybody in order to get back to the level that he was getting. I think he's playing Markeisha. Something's going to end up happening to her, and I don't think this is the last we're gonna see Boom.
yeah, I don't think it's the last. My only question to this scene right here is how the hell did Markeisha beat T over there? Because I mean, and of course, you know, this is just me watching things. We know this is stuff that's off screen. Maybe, you know, T had to go somewhere else, but T left before Markeisha. And when he got there, Markeisha comes out the back room and tries to stop.
Was it the back room though?
Yeah, she didn't come in the front door. She came straight out the back room.
I didn't even peep
out the
that.
back room. It was yelling at T to stop. And I was trying to figure. I was like, wait a minute. So she was already there, and I'm trying to figure like how you get there before, T, like something. So
Why Markeisha never have her damn kids?
that's nothing.
Where your kids at, ho?
I was just wondering where the kids was at too, because we ain't seen them since last season. Or what? No, we ain't seen them since season 2, right? Because she got shot in season 2.
Yeah, like you out here doing all this extra stuff, and you going to see Vince and Boom on the conjugal and all this other type of stuff, and you bend you over to the table, and you telling T what he can and can't do, and all the time. Where your kids at, ho?
So, again, Boom tries to tell T, you know, she's playing both of us, but of course, T's not trying to hear that, and he throws Boom out of the door. And then they have a little, Markeisha and T have a little back and forth to where T tells her, like, you know what, I knew I couldn't trust you. That's why I've been giving all of my money to Wanda the Hoe. And Markeisha is still, of course, you know, that's my husband, is the father to my kids or whatever. And, you know, T's like, but you still want to be with this OJ Simpson looking nigga.
Yeah.
And she's like, but, and he's like, a but. Of course so. But of course we know from the next episode he gonna be right back with Markeisha again, and that goes to what Meech been telling him, that like this girl got your nose wide open to where you don't even think straight business wise. So Detective Brian is down in Atlanta having a cup of coffee where Abe runs into him.
He's having more than a cup of coffee.
Oh.
He poured a little liquor in there.
Oh, dang! You know what? I probably didn't even pay attention. He did it so quick.
Man, he put that flask out. That's what made me think, like, man, Detective Brian going through some things.
Yeah, he going through some things after he wasn't able to break Duffy, so his case is at a standstill. But Abe comes in, and Abe gives Brian some pictures that he took of different dealers from Techwood, and one of the pictures ends up being a picture of Laz, which we can see right here, talking to Meech. Which now we know that Brian's next target is none other than Laz. He's going to go after Laz and try to get him to probably fold on Meech and give some info up on Meech. Probably going to do something along the lines with threaten. Probably like how he did B-Mickie. It was probably going to be something along the line with, you know, Laz's grandmother or something like that, as we see in the season that he takes his grandmother to church every Sunday. So I think that's probably what we're gonna get next episode from Detective Brian and Laz. Here in St. Louis, we got Meech who rolls up on J-Pusha and Sean, and J-Pusha is already telling Sean to mount up people and have them all ready. And if the Moors cross the line, you know, go ahead and send them to the crossroads. To where Meech is like, nah, y'all need to chill, and Meech lets them know that their services are no longer needed. It tells them that they both scandalous, and tells them, like, you know, I had love for you. We could have been cool. We could have been family. But, you know, in a sense, he lets them know, like, I know what you did behind my back, you know, with Loco. So everything that we got going on, y'all cut off. Y'all not even a part of the family no more. And that's it. Where we see J-Pusha rage, and he breaks the glass down, which still trips me out how that glass table didn't break.
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay,
But
The
he
glass
slammed
broke.
the glass down though, right?
Yeah, he slammed it down. I'm like, okay, if that broke,
nothing though.
the glass table should have broke. But we just nitpicking just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But Meech tells them that their services are no longer needed and they're scandalous. So Meech goes to meet up with Money Mook and goes to make a deal, and he also tells them that due to the beef that they had with J-Pusha crossing the lines, that he's going to give them a discount on the product. And Meech also has the warehouse ready just in case, which I felt like he had the warehouse ready, even though Sterl right here says Meech says no guns, no pulling no triggers unless we have to.
I was about to ask you a question actually about the warehouse, because during the conversation it seems like Meech was mentioning the warehouse to Pusha. It was saying, get your shit and get out of my warehouse, or whatever he was saying. Wasn't something along those lines. I can't remember. He was just saying, like, because he told Pusha to go to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Pusha to go to the warehouse. He ended up going to where he was going to meet the Moors.
Yeah. And he said the same thing to Money Mook, that J-Pusha is going over to the warehouse. I already got my guys, there. So I felt like, but I was still confused. I felt like he was setting Pusha up to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Sterl says, Meech says, don't pull no triggers unless we have to, but I pray that we have to. That's why I got confused. I'm like, well, wait a minute, like. So yeah, I didn't call it. Now this part right here, I did not see coming. Like, that joint came out of nowhere. I did not see it coming, and I'm kind of mad.
Remember, I said it in the last show.
You did. You said that was one of your
I was like, I think that might have been Pusha pulling up on him.
Yeah, you definitely said that. You said that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't see it coming, and J-Pusha ends up just bam. I was a little mad because I was just like, yo, we waited this long time, so many episodes to get this new Money Mook character, and then in the same episode, y'all take him out.
Done.
I was just like, but I guess, it was something to push along the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we know now where the story is going to go. As if I'm sure y'all saw in the last episode, we said it time and time again about the real J-Pusha and the real story. So we know now where this storyline is going to go. But J-Pusha comes in, takes out Money Mook, along with Sean. Meech is able to flee, and after Meech is able to flee, J-Pusha takes out Sean
in the most disrespectful way.
Right, in the most disrespectful way. I'm still that part right there tripped me out, because I'm like, bruh, how after you just unalive somebody, you just like, oh yeah, you know what? I gotta go to the bathroom.
That was one of the most disrespectful situations that I ever seen. That was crazy.
I was sitting there, I was like, I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. I'm like,
but my question is now is how do we push how do we push his story along? Because now he's no longer a part of BMF. He has no connect. He got rid of his right hand man. The Moors, who was probably one of his biggest foes, is gone. Well, now it's BMF, but he can't be trusted in his crew or the crew that he did have, because now you did knock off your right hand man. But you probably just say Meech end up doing it. But how do we push the story along?
Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna be. He's just gonna tell his people that Meech snaked them over a deal. Meech went behind their back, went to the Moors to try to cut them out, and in the process of them trying to come in and take them out, Meech or the Moors, they ended up taking out Sean or whatever. And I'm thinking in my, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be somewhere along those lines, and now he's gonna be the new enemy, at least for them, at least for Meech and them along in St. Louis. So back at this scene was hilarious to me. Back here in Detroit, we got Wanda along with Nikki, and they're discussing the whole pregnancy thing. And Nikki is saying, it's no big deal. I'm gonna handle it. Everything's gonna get done. I'm not worried about it. I don't need my family to raise my baby. But Wanda tells her really just how life is and how she's gonna need her family there when they have a child. Because although you're gonna be in school, you're gonna be a mom first. You're not gonna sleep. You're not gonna be able to do pretty much anything else but take care of your kid. And while they're having this discussion, T rolls in and T tells Wanda, like, hey, can you please tell Nikki that I'm taking her home? To where Nikki is like, you still give me the silent treatment. You so juvenile. And T is threatening her again, like, you working here. And Nikki's like, whatever, I'll quit. I don't need to work here with the one customer that come having ass and all this different other stuff. But the hilarious part to me, she was like, I'll get Wanda to take me home. She was like, I got 2 kids at home. Like, don't put me in this joint. I ain't about to mess up with T giving me bread. I'm living life. She was like, nah, you ain't about to mess up everything that I got going on. So comes to where he's like, I don't care if you walk home, but of course Nikki goes and make nice with Terry and
immediately.
Yeah. Damn, man. We got this joint right here. This whole scene was mad rough. So we got Charles, who's just sitting here. He's going through it. He's out of it. And Lucille comes down to
looking like a Jezebel. Hand me that bullshit, Lucille. You sitting around here judging somebody. You got half a tit out.
She comes downstairs and finds Charles downstairs just sitting in the chair, and Charles is just like, he's done. Like, I think he said, he asked her, did you ever love me? He says, my marriage has failed, my career has failed, tours gone, music, I have no money, I have nothing going on, so there's nothing there's nothing left. There's nothing for me to live for. And Lucille is trying to calm him down and apologize at the same time, saying, she didn't mean it. She was saying it out of anger, as she realized that a lot of those feelings are coming from what she said to Charles. And while she's saying that, Nikki and T walk in, and he says, like, I don't want to live no more. And Nikki says, I need you here for my baby. I need you here. And T goes up to him and asks him, does he still have the gun that he took from Terry and Meech's room? Which I thought when he looked over, I thought it was sitting right there. Because he looked over and I was like, man, please don't tell me he about to grab it. But he doesn't grab it. And Terry stays with him in the room for the rest of the night while he sleeps to the next morning. And the next morning, Meech pops up and they have a whole argument. And Meech comes and tells Terry, he knows about everything that he had going on. And Terry lies to him about who was the person that he hired for the hit to take out J-Pusha. He said it was a St. Louis local. Which was, well, I guess I understood why he didn't tell Meech, but I'm like, you might as well have told him it was B-Mickie, but I kind of see why, because Meech had been said that B-Mickie, is out of the family for good. But of course he's keeping things from him as well. And they have a back and forth. And Terry tells him about, while you out there, you saying you're doing all this stuff for the family, you're not even here for the family. Nikki's pregnant. Pop's talking about, he wanted to take his own life. He don't even want to be here no more. And you're talking about you doing this for the family, and you out there in the streets. And Meech tells him, like, only reason I got in the streets was to keep this family together. Terry tells him, well, the family would be way better without you being here. And that's pretty much how it is, as Meech leaves, and that's pretty much it. Man, oh man. And we get to
This
it.
is out cold. I was shocked. This
Shocked.
was the shocker for me. I was like,
Shocked.
what?
Super shocked. I did not see this coming. I gotta tip my hats off to the writers.
Yeah.
I gotta tip my hat off to the writers. Because me and Jack have been saying all season, what was the purpose of bringing Lamar and B-Mickie back?
Yep.
And now we see it. So I got to tip my hats off to the writers because y'all did an excellent job with this because I did not see this coming at all. Although we spoke about it briefly earlier, if Aisha knew about him getting back into the life, which we find out that she does know about him getting back into the life. She knows the whole plan. She knows everything. And so find out here, they're happy as the daughter is now home and she's safe. And Aisha talks about the story about she's so happy that B-Mickie went to go meet the crazy man, as she says, which we found out is none other than Lamar. And so we know that B-Mickie went to Lamar to set up the whole entire thing to get revenge back on Meech and T as they kicked them out. So and I'm still confused about. I hope next episode we kind of get a little bit more background on that because I'm just like, bruh, like, you know what you did. So I'm still confused as to why you want revenge on them. Like, did you expect them to like keep you around? Like, granted, you didn't snitch, but you still didn't tell them about the dealings that you had going on with Bryant. So, like, I'm confused about the whole thing. I don't understand it, but B-Mickie seems to think that Lamar's gone, so he's not worried about anything. He's not worried about anything. He's happy. He's like, hey, we got the money, so we're gonna do what we do, and that's gonna be it for us. And we see before the episode closes out that B-Mickie intentionally missed a shot on J-Pusha, which showed me that he did that on purpose so that a whole war can be started and that somebody else will end up taking out Meech and Terry, as we see that Mickey has a little smirk on his face.
So my question is, unless I missed it, was his plan to take over what Meech and Terry is doing, or he didn't want them gone?
I think it just wants them gone. I think that was his whole intention, just to come back in.
He was on a revenge tour.
Yeah, because he said now that we got the bread for, we were able to get the bread for our daughter's surgery. Everything's good. I think, yeah, he was just in the revenge. It was just like, yeah, I feel like he's only doing that just because he's trying to get back in to get that money. And now, like, he just wants him gone. So he thinks it's not going to come back on him because he thinks Lamar's gone, which we're going to find out that Lamar is not gone. And I'm wondering at some point, is that information going to come out if that's what he did? And also, if y'all saw our show last week, we brought up that whole scene from a trailer where we know that someone is in a casket, as we saw T pouring out liquor. We saw Hoot there, we saw Meech there, we saw Charles there, we saw Mama Lucille there, we saw Nikki there, we saw Breeze there, which got us wondering who could be that person in the casket. And I'm starting to believe that it's none other than B-Mickie, because that's the only thing that would make sense as far as Mama Lucille being there and for them to pour out. So got me thinking that they never find out that B-Mickie was the one behind having Lamar come back after them and setting them up to take them out. So on the next episode, we see, J-Pusha. He's going to be on the warpath on the next episode. Kia tells Meech, that this is no longer, just regular war. This is personal now. And I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm going to have to do some research, and y'all could probably drop it down in the comments if Kia and Pusha are related. I can't remember if they are. I know,
Can't remember there either.
yeah, I know she was, she was with Pusha's camp when they first, as she was going to play baseball, but she was in Pusha's camp with Meech first met Pusha and everything. But I feel like just the way, but I mean, it could be just be her loyalty, but I can't remember if she is actually related to Pusha. But we could tell that, she doesn't want to do anything behind Pusha's back. As she said again in this scene right here, she tells, everything that's going on now is becoming personal with Pusha. So we can see Meech is probably going to try to get Kia's help to take out Pusha. Um, Officer Hardy, Detective Bryant, they get a lead on the BMF stash house, which I'm thinking in that stash house is probably going to be Laz, and that's the person that they end up grabbing up in the trailer that Brian tackles on the table. We see Meech, Terry and Markeisha down in Atlanta. Still ain't listened yet. And he's going to some high stakes like poker game or something. And I'm wondering here if he's down there with Markeisha probably to try to make another deal that she got set up with somebody or something, because I can't see no other reason for Terry to take Markeisha down to Atlanta. But this is going to be down in Atlanta. This scene right here, though, I'm trying to figure out because Loco's in the background.
See Loco.
We got Meech, and then Nikki's crying. So I'm trying to figure out who are they talking to? I'm thinking they're possibly talking to Terry, but I just can't figure out what it could possibly be. But I feel like it's got to be Terry, just the way Meech is standing there. I can't see it being Breeze. I feel like it's got to be Terry because Loco was there.
Maybe it's could it be?
So that's why I feel That's why I feel like, but I just don't know.
You say they talking to Terry?
I'm thinking she's talking to Terry about something. Like Terry
maybe about my man Uncle Charles, maybe.
I mean, it could be, but it's I don't know. I don't know. I'm just wondering. It's something that breaks her down, that makes her cry. So I'm wondering exactly what it is.
Thinking some Uncle Charles family issues or something.
Yeah, or maybe he said something. But it's just I'm trying to figure that out because, like I said, Loco was in the background. And of course, here we got J-Pusha again, and he's telling, of course, his crew that he wants Meech dead or alive. And we got Meech pulling up the strap on somebody. I feel like that's J-Pusha's house.
It looks like it's J-Pusha's house,
but I'm not 100%
background with the basketball and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know the sign up top says game room or something of that nature. So
yeah,
I'm not sure, but once the picks get released, we'll be able to drop those to give y'all our predictions and everything. And that's pretty much it. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as well as drop y'all comments and y'all predictions down below. So, of course, we always love the feedback from you all. I'm not 100% sure, but I've been reading some things that we do not get an episode next week. I've been reading some things that is supposed to be the break. As we read last week, 4th of July is supposed to be the break, but it wasn't. But this one I've been seeing on multiple sites that next week is the break, and we won't get episode 7 until the 25th of July. So we're gonna do some more research on that. If we do get the episode next week, of course we'll be back next week. But if not, we'll see y'all on the on the 25th when the episode drops. Got anything else, Jack?
None really, man. Great episode. It's continuously growing. I didn't expect much for the whole season, but I was wrong. And if we go into a break, take a little bit of time to refresh ourselves on Force, because we'll be right back after this is done with the whole crew with Power Book 3 Force.
Yeah. Yep, and that's it. So we'll see y'all on the next episode. Like I said again, if they drop the predictions, of course we're gonna put our predictions out as soon as they drop the picks. But until then, we'll see y'all for the next episode.